Hello, you beautiful and handsome people, you and welcome again. So, today we are going to continue with the series as I promised, the series that people are just people, people acting like typical human beings in the Bible. Today, I want us to look at the story of Esther. This lady, one very beautiful lady, let's start there because you're told, we all know the story. We are told that even without makeup, this lady was chosen over thousands, if not hundreds, of ladies before her after Vashti denied to go see the king at the appointed time. And when the time came, Esther became queen. And a shout out to all the Esthers out there, you ladies, every lady named Esther. I don't know. They are always beautiful. They always have beautiful hearts. They are gorgeous. They have um, they have just beautiful hearts. I know my mom was an Esther. My mom was among the most beautiful, caring, respectable women that I've ever met. And I know most of you are like, she's your mother. You have to say that. Well, I you don't have to praise someone if they're not nice. And I can say that for a fact. They are nice people. I have Lady Esther Shira, I have Esther Wangeshi, and all the Esthers out there. Feel loved. Feel loved. There is also Esther Kane. I'll remind me to put her description down there. You should go listen to her music. She's awesome. So, back to the story. Esther comes to a point that in those times, as a queen, well, as it was mostly back then, when the Persians and the Medes took over Jerusalem, and Esther, being a Jew, having been selected the queen, which she, of course, kept a secret because of obvious reasons, because of Haman. And there is no way you can talk about Esther without talking about Mordecai and Haman. But they are going to have their series maybe on Thursday. Yes, on Thursday we're going to talk about Haman and Mordecai. So Esther is a queen, and the feud between Haman and Mordecai sparks up, and Haman decides to give an order to kill every Jew in every province that the king held. And Esther, having been selected queen, of course, she is in the palace, in the queen's chambers, and there was a rule. eh, There was a rule that if you need to see the king, he has to summon you. It doesn't matter if you're the queen, it doesn't matter if you're the prime minister, if you're not summoned by the king, especially his wives, if you're not summoned by him, and you just decide to up and leave and go see him, you might have faced death. So, uh, Haman decides to kill all the Jews. The king signs off on it, and Mordecai is very troubled. And after being troubled, he decides to do the most logical the most logical thing, speak to the queen, because, well, she's my niece, she has to do something, she's a Jew, she has to help us. I mean, she doesn't have a choice, she has to help us. And he sends out a message via Havoc. You can find all these in the book of Esther, the whole book. You'll just read the whole book. It's very interesting, very amazing. He sends Havoc, um, one of Queen Esther's helps, to go tell Esther that, hey, we're gonna die out here. We are Jews and we are going to die. And Esther sends back word that if the king does not summon me and I decide to go and see him, he might kill me. He might have me killed unless he stretches out his golden scepter. Then I'm better off as a dead woman. When Hathach goes back with the message, Mordecai, and this is the most interesting part, Mordecai comes back, tells Hathach to come back with these words. That is in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verses 13, sorry. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all Jews will escape. 14. If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Those words are powerful. That do not think that you acting out, you being a human being and being in the royal position that you're in, that you alone are going to escape. Because let's not forget, she might have been selected to be the queen. Mordecai might have kept her secret of being a Jew, but someone would have found out either way that Esther was a Jew. And if all Jews were killed, even she would have faced the punishment of death. And Mordecai reminds her that we are not doing this battle as humans. We are not doing this battle as humans. No, no. If you think that you being a typical human, no, I'm just going to lay back, I'm the only one who is going to get saved. I mean, the rest of you can go die. So the rest of you can just go, just perish. And he sends out this word that Esther comes to her senses. Esther regains her position as a Jew, as a woman of prayer. She sends out word. Tell every Jew in every province, in every household, every Jew and their animal and their children for the next 3 days. Now, this is authority. After her being a typical human, saying that I'm the only one who is going to get saved, she comes into her power, into her authority as a God's woman, as a woman of the word, as a woman of prayer, as a prayer warrior. For the next 3 days, no man, no woman, no child, no beast shall eat. Let us pray that if I go in the presence of the king, not only you as the Jews, myself will be fasting with you and praying with you. The maid servants and my man servants, every person in my palatial home, my section of the palatial home, will be fasting and praying for the same, that no harm should come to the Jews. No harm will come to me if I go see the king. How many times have you acted out as a typical human being when you know what the right thing is to do? How many times have we acted like, it's not my problem, so the rest of you can just go, I don't know, die? Like you're in a position of power. A friend of yours, a family member, has come to you for help. And since you're not concerned and concerned about them, you're like, I can't help. My position cannot allow me to. My obligations cannot allow me to help you at this time. Let me tell you, as Haman told Esther, help will come. Help will come from somewhere. And God is faithful. He'll not leave those who have asked Him for help. And someday shame will come back to you. Shame will come back to you in droves. I want to tell you today, in as much as Esther was a typical human being for a time, she came back to her position. She came back, she remembered she was a queen. Being a queen meant that she could give orders. Being a queen meant that she could actually tell people to help her to pray for the calamity that was about to beface them to go away. And sure enough, after she prayed, she goes back to the king. She goes to the king, and the king is very, very good. He stretches out his golden scepter. Before she leaves, she gives this word: if I perish, let me perish. If I perish, let me perish. How many times can you say that to a family member? How many times can you say that if you have to perish for you to save someone else, if you have to sacrifice that 100 shillings, that $1,000 for someone else, that rupee, whichever the amount that you have, how many times would you sacrifice that for another person, even if it meant you as a person being left without? Esther came back to her position. She remembered that there is power in prayer. May you come back to your position. This series, yes, it's about people just being typical human beings. And I remember last time telling you in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verses 9, nothing is new under the sun. So whatever Esther was going through, we are also going through. Nothing is new. She had decided to give up on the Jews. But may you find your Haman who will tell you, my friend, you need to get back to your position. Who knows that at such a time as this, you have come into your wealth, you have come into your influence, you have come into whichever the position that you are in to help out another friend, to help out someone who really, really needs that help. Who knows? Hey, just a reminder, I'm no preacher. I'm just a fan of the Bible, but the Bible is fun to read. Just remember, get back to your position. And there is always power in prayer. There is always power in prayer. As long as you do it with a heart full of thanksgiving, nothing is impossible under the sun. And which reminds me, in the story of Tower of Babel, Genesis chapter 11 verses 6, the Lord God has a testimony about us, that if man is united with one purpose, there is nothing they can't accomplish. Esther and the Jews are a testimony enough. They held each other, they held on to prayer, they united in prayer for something common. We don't want to die. We really, really don't want to die. So please, God, help us. And it worked. Haman, who had planned the whole thing, him and his family, his entire family and friends, were killed. if you're united, find a group, find your Haman, and let that Haman help you find your group of people who you can just be free with. You can pray for a common purpose, for a common goal, and then nothing. God has this testimony about us. Nothing is impossible when we come together. They're like a mashup of stories, a mashup of lessons in this video. So just a gentle reminder. Remember, take back your position. Take back your position, and there is always power in united prayers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment on your favorite part, comment on anything. Just leave down a comment below. And thank you very much, Jackie Charles, for always being my biggest #1 fan. Until next time, until Thursday, see ya. Bye.